Hello dear students, welcome to the new chapter, that is the motivation. This is the first lecture regarding the motivation, and in this lecture we are going to discuss what you mean by this motivation, what are the characteristics and the importance of the motivation and motivation process, and what are the important theories regarding the motivation. Okay, these are the basic contents regarding the first lecture of the motivation. What is the motivation? What are the characteristics and importance, motivation process and theories in the motivation. Okay, let us start. What do you mean by the term is motivation? So in plus 2 classes you are familiar, the word is motivation. What is a motivation? The motivation means is an act of stimulating people for action. It's an act of stimulating your employees for action. It's a supporting your employees for the better performance. The term is known as the motivation. Okay, the motivation, the word is derived from the word is motive, which means like define a need that requires satisfaction. So the motivation is derived from the word motive, which is defined as a need that requires satisfaction. The human have lot of needs. The needs are always unlimited. Needs and wants always unlimited. So the motivation is a term, is a derived from the word is a motive, which means it's a need that requires satisfaction. So that is a very important. The current scenario, as a management point of view, the term, the motivation is very important. What is a motivation? And it's like an act of stimulating individual for action. The term is known as the motivation. Okay, and here according to Edwin B. Flifo define motivation is a process of attempting to influence others to do their work through responsibility of gain a reward. It's a process of attempting to influence others to do their work through responsibility of the gain on reward. The process is known as the motivation. It's defined by according to Edwin B. Flifo, and he defined the motivation is like a process of attempting to influence others to do their work through responsibility of the gain on reward. The term is known as the motivation. So it's like an act of stimulating people for the action. Look at this diagram. It's like an act of stimulating people for the action. That means to reach the organization level, to reach the employee maximum performance. So give the necessary support. The term is known as the motivation. So motivation is one of the important element of the organization function, that is stimulating people for the action. Okay, let us discuss what are the basic characteristics of the motivation. The motivation have the different characteristics. We're discussing what are the important characteristics of the motivation. Okay, the first important characteristics of the motivation is like a psychological concept. The motivation is like a psychology, that means inner feeling. It's come from their own heart. So it's like a psychology for motivating the people. So it's a process, is a psychological element. It's a purely personal and simultaneously a psychological concept. That's the first important characteristics of the motivation. Is like a personal and the psychological concept. Okay, and motivation is like a process. The motivation means is a process, that means involve a lot of stages like a need, deficiency, reward, then employee performance. These are the important steps regarding the motivation. So motivation is not a single element, it's like a process. And third one, the motivation is a continuous process. The motivation is always a process, and similarly it's a continuous process. It's necessary for throughout the period of the organization. So it's treated as a continuous process. The motivation is term is always a continuous process. And the motivation is a complex subject. The motivation, that means in order to motivate the employee, the motivating the employee is not an easy task. Sometimes there is a lot of the difficulties are involved for motivating an employee or an individual. So the motivation is always a complex subject. That's another important characteristic of the motivation, is a complex subject. And motivation is goal oriented. What is the purpose of motivation? Achieving the objectives of organization. The getting reward, the employees are getting the reward, and in order to achieve the objectives of organization, the organization always try to motivate the employee for the better performance. So it is a goal oriented activity, and it's intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic, that means internal and the external motivation. The motivation is include the internal point of view and the external point of view. That means both internal and external factors are considered for motivating the employee. So intrinsic and the extrinsic motivation. And there is a positive and negative motivation. The praising, reward, bonus, all are the positive motivation. Demotion, transfer, all are the negative form of the motivation. So there is a positive way and the negative way for the motivating the employees. There is a positive motivation and the negative motivation. Another one is it's related with an individual. The motivation is always related with the individual because it's a personal element relating with the human. Human needs and wants are considered for the motivating the employees. So what is the basic purpose of motivation? Satisfy the needs and wants. That means individual needs and wants is a very important element. So it's a related with the individual. These are the 8 important characteristics of the motivation. One is the personal and psychological concept. The motivation is a process. The motivation is a continuous process. It's like a complex subject. It's a goal-oriented, intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, and the positive and the negative, it's related with the individual. These are the important characteristics of the motivation. What is the motivation? The motivation is like a process of stimulating people for the action. Okay, I'm discussing what are the importance of the motivation. The motivation is always stimulating people for action. So it's a mantra is not I can't, is you can do it. That is the importance of the motivation. It's a positive way. The motivation is like a positive element. That means not I can't do it. It's like a you can do the any task. That's the spirit of this motivation. Look at this picture. It shows that the spirit of your the motivation. Okay, so let us discuss the other importance of the motivation. The motivation, the first importance of the motivation is a proper utilization of the production factor. That means the input, output, labor, land, labor, capital, organization, all are the production factors. We can effectively utilize the production factor for the organization benefit. That's the first importance of the motivation, is the proper utilization of the production factor. And second one is willingness and interest creation. The motivation is always inner feel, is psychological concept. Is create the willingness and interest creation for the doing a particular job. That is one of the important strength of the motivation, is to create the positive attitude in the minds of the workers. So that is the second important element, the willingness and the interest creation. And third one is high productivity. Employee productivity, motivation can be improve the productivity of the employee. The employees are working for the organization benefit for getting of reward. So it's always improve the productivity of the employee. That's another importance of the motivation, is the high productivity. And there is an organization goal. The motivation is always important to achieve the organization goal. Whether it's a maximization of the profit, minimization of the cost, maximizing the wealth of the shareholders, there are different objectives of organization. So in order to achieve the organization goal, the motivation is essential. And the readiness of changes. The motivation is always accepting the changes in environment and changes in the organization, because the dynamic environment, so the surroundings are changing so fast. The motivation is always help to identify the changes in the organization. That's the readiness for the changes. And there is the efficiency in the work. The motivation always create the works in efficient manner, to complete your task in efficient manner. That's one of the importance of the motivation. There's a efficiency in the work, and it's reducing the absenteeism, and always reduce absenteeism and the labor turnover. Suppose your organization is motivated the employees better level, definitely you can reduce absenteeism in the organization. So motivations always help reduce the absenteeism. and achieving the employee satisfaction. Suppose you motivate an employee in a positive way, it will be creating the employee satisfaction. The employees are more satisfied in the organization style, and definitely they work for the organization without expecting anything. So that is a employee satisfaction. Then also proper rewards are declared by the management. The rewards are always satisfying the employees, and there are fewer dispute and strike. There is a lesser possibility of the dispute and strike. Suppose you believe in the right motivation. That's another important. There's a fewer dispute and strike, and better human relations. You can improve the human relationship within your organization with help of the motivation. That is a better human relationship. So, and what are other important? And similarly, there are other importance like the effective utilization of workers, make the employees are quality oriented. Then the maintaining the good human relations, the basis of the good cooperation, better image, improvement of the skill and knowledge of the employees, and motivation induce the workers to work. These are the other importance of this motivation. Okay, these are the importance of the motivation. What is the motivation? The motivation is a process stimulating individual for action. The term is known as the motivation. These are the importance of the motivation. That's a lot of the importance. There's effective utilization of the production factor, high productivity, organization goal, employee satisfaction, the fewer dispute, and the reducing the absenteeism, better image, improve the skill and knowledge of the employees. These are the importance of this motivation. Okay, now after the motivation process, so we already discussed the motivation is like a process. It's like a continuous process. So let's discuss the process of this motivation, how the motivation is working. So listen, one of the important elements of the motivation is the human needs and wants. What is the practical importance of the motivation? The human needs and wants. So the first important stage of the motivation is like the need deficiency. Identify the needs of the humans. Which need is the very important? So first important step is the need deficiency. The employees are unsatisfied the needs and wants. A need which arrive at the mind, for example, desire to get a promotion. Suppose an employee's mind, definitely there is a need. They are always expecting to get the promotion. It is a deficiency, something with an individual, and provide the spark, which is starting point of the motivation. So identification of the needs, that is one of the important starting point of the motivation. The first you identify the need deficiency. There is an example, for example, desire to get a promotion. It is a deficiency of something within the individual. So one of the important stage of the motivation, the first important stage is the need deficiency. That's the first important step, is find out the need deficiency. And second one is selection of the course of action. After the need deficiency, the second one is employees seeking the strategies to satisfy this. How to satisfy the needs? There is a need deficiency, and how to satisfy the needs. So for that purpose, we have a lot of the course of action. He selected the best strategy. The management is selecting the best strategy for the selection of the course of action. The first you need deficiency, and second one is employees seeking the strategies to satisfy his needs. Definitely, the employees want to get a promotion. The next, he always seeking the strategies to satisfy these needs. He selecting the best strategy, and how he get the promotion. Definitely, he will select the right strategy or the best strategy. The second one is the selection of the course of action, and third one is assessment of the employee's performance. After the third stage is assessing the employee's performance. The supervisor is always assessing whether he is eligible for the promotion or not. So supervisor assesses the performance of the employee. That's the employee performance appraisal, evaluating the performance of the employee. The third stage of the motivation is evaluating the performance of the employee. And after that, it is a right reward or the punishment. It is a light of the employee performance. He is rewarded or punished. Give reward means he is able to satisfy his needs. Suppose getting the reward, that means a chance for the promotion. Suppose there is a negative mind, there is a demotion. So reward or punishment is decided in the fourth stage of the motivation. Okay, these are the four important stages regarding the motivation. The first important stage is the need deficiency. So identify the need deficiency. Suppose example, desire to get a promotion, there is need deficiency. And selecting the course of action, that means employees seeking the right strategies to satisfy this need. And third, assessing the employee, that means management, superiors, evaluating the performance of these employees. And fourth one is the reward or punishment. The reward is punishment, is relating with the employee's performance. These are the important steps of the motivation. So look at this diagram. There is the motivation process. The first is starting with the needs. Normally there is a tension, there is effort. There is tension, getting the promotion, there is a tension. And after the employee getting the effort and performance, and after that getting the reward. So there is a look at this diagram. This diagram shows the way of the promotion. Suppose you get an employee decide to get a promotion, then there's a need. Then there's a lot of tension in the minds of the employees. And after getting, he take the effort, and the employees are measuring the performance and getting the rewards. So there is a lot of the elements regarding the environment, opportunity, ability, all are associated with the process of this motivation. So this is one of the important element of the motivation, and that is a motivation process. Starting with the need deficiency, a selection of the course of action, assessment of the employee's performance, a reward and punishment. These are the important steps of the motivation. Okay, and after that, what are the important theories in the motivation? We have already discussed some theories in the first chapter. Here we are discussing what are the important theories regarding the motivation. A motivation point of view, there is a 5 important theories. We already discussed some certain theories in the first chapter. The first theory is the Maslow need hierarchical theory. We have already explained this theory in the first chapter. There is a Maslow need hierarchical theory. And second one is a Herzberg 2-factor theory. This is the same one we had explained in the first chapter. Herzberg 2-factor theory. Then McClelland achievement theory. There's a new theory. Then McGregor X and Y theory. We already discussed the first chapter, McGregor X and Y theory. And theory of Z. That's a William G. Ouchi. So introduce a theory of Z. These are the important theories in motivation. We're discussing what are the step one by one, the Maslow, Herzberg, McClelland, McGregor, and theory of the Z. Okay, these are the important theories. And after the motivation theory class 2, there's a content theory and the process theory. A content point of view, there's a Maslow, Herzberg, McClelland, Alderfer, Hierarchical theory, room. Then process point of view, there's a room expectancy, Adam equity theory, goal setting theory, reinforcement theory. These are the process theory. This is a classification motivation theory. So as per the syllabus point of view, we have to favor the 5 important theory. This is the right classification of theories. This is a content point of view, that's a process point of view. A content point of view, Maslow, Herzberg, then the McClelland, Albert, Alderfer. Process point of view, there's a room expectancy theory, Adams and goal setting, and the reinforcement theory. These are the important theories as per at the point of the motivation. Okay, let us discuss the first important theory. There's a Maslow need hierarchical theory. So Abraham Maslow need hierarchical theory. We already discussed the Abraham Maslow hierarchical theory. There is a 5 important needs regarding the Maslow theory. The theory is introduced by the Abraham Maslow, and he was during the period of 1943. He stated that the pupils are motivated to achieve the needs and wants. The needs and wants are the starting point of the motivation. The pupils are motivated to achieve the certain needs. So this starting with the basic needs and end with the self-actualization need. Look at this diagram. This is starting with the physiological need and end with the self-actualization need. So that's the basic needs. The first important needs is the physiological needs. It's known as the basic needs. That's food, shelter, water, clothing. These are the part of the physiological need. That's the primary needs. That's the first important element is the physiological need. That's Maslow suggesting the first important need is the physiological need. And after that, a safety need. Once individuals satisfy the physiology, the basic needs, and next you think about the safety and security. How become you safe and secured? This is the second category of need. That's a safety need. The first one is a basic need. That's a physiological need. And second, after that, satisfy the physiological need. The next need is arises. That's a safety need. And after the safety need satisfied, the next one is a social need. That means living in a society, the social needs is a point of the love, belongingness is a part of the social need. The physiological needs that have been fulfilled. The next one, third level point of view, the human needs and social and involve the feeling of the belongingness. The love, belongingness is a part of the social need. The third one, that is a social need. And fourth one is esteem needs. After the societal need, the next thing about the esteem, that's ego, is one of the important elements of the esteem need. The fourth level need, the Maslow classified 2 categories: esteem for oneself and desired reputation of respect from others. That is the egoistic point of view. The two important aspects of the esteem needs, one is esteem for oneself and desired for the reputation or the respect from others. That is one of the important elements of the esteem need. That is the fourth one. And after that, thinking, that self-actualization. That's the highest level of the Maslow need hierarchical theory. This refers to the realization of the personal potential, self-fulfillment, seeking the personal growth, peak of the experience. So that is the very important element. There is a personal potential and self-fulfillment and seeking the personal growth. These are the important needs regarding the Maslow need hierarchical theory. The 5 needs, the starting with the physiological need, and after that is safety need, that is social, love, belonging is social need, there is esteem and the self-actualization needs. So there is a process starting from the physiological and end with the self-actualization. So the motivation is increase and need for the matter. That's needs and wants. One of the important element of this motivation. Okay, and we're discussing what are the important assumptions of the Maslow theory. So look at this person. He's Abraham Maslow. And this classify the different levels of the needs. And we're discussing what are the assumptions of this Maslow theories. The Maslow theories have the certain assumptions. The first assumption, the people behavior based on their needs and wants, very important. Satisfaction of such needs influence their behavior. Suppose satisfy the needs, that influence their behavior. This is the first important assumption, that the people behavior is based on their needs and wants. That's needs and wants, very important element as per the Maslow theory. And second, people's needs are hierarchical order. So look at this diagram. There is hierarchical order. The starting with the self physiological needs and end with the self-actualization. That means there is a hierarchical order. That lower, top to bottom, bottom to top. There is an order. And third one, satisfied needs can no longer motivate a person. Suppose if the physiological needs satisfied, the next level, think about the next high level. That is safety. And after the safety level, they think about a social need. After social need, they think about self-actualization. So, need can no longer motivate a certain person. That's one of the important assumptions. And after the person move to next high level of the hierarchy, only when the lower level needs are satisfied. Suppose physiologically need is satisfied, that is the basic need is satisfied, then only that he think about the another category, that is safety and security. And after that is think about the friendship, belongingness. There is a egoistic point of view and self-actualization point of view. So that is a move to the next high level to higher only when the lower level needs are satisfied. And the wants of the human beings are unlimited. Definitely the human needs and wants are unlimited. These are the basic assumptions regarding the Maslow need hierarchical theory. The people behavior based on the needs. Needs are the hierarchical order, and the needs can no longer motivate a person. Only the higher level needs are motivate him. A person move to the next high level hierarchy only when the lower level needs are satisfied, and the wants of the human beings are the unlimited. These are the assumptions of the Maslow need hierarchical theory. Okay, and what are the advantages and the disadvantages of the Maslow theory? The Maslow theory have its own advantages and the disadvantages. Let us discuss what are the advantages and disadvantages regarding the Maslow need hierarchical theory. Okay, so Maslow need hierarchical theory advantages and the limitations. The advantages are, first of all, the theory is purely relating with the motivation. That means understanding how to motivate the employees. The motivation theory is very helpful for the manager and how to motivate the employee, because there is a 5 category of the needs are included. So in order to familiar these needs, the managers think the right way, and starting with the physiological and end with the self-actualization. So that is a understanding how to motivate the employees. This theory provides the useful summary of the human needs. Definitely this is providing the summary of the human needs, which can be used to product design, product positioning, pricing, and retailing, outlet design. So it's a lot of helpful. The theories always help to useful to summary of the human needs. As the second advantages. And third one is it helps to the marketers to focus in the advertisement appeals specific needs shared by the large segment of the target marketing. The marketing point of view, the Maslow theory is very helpful, because helpful the marketers to focus advertisement and also fixing the target market. These are the advantages regarding the Maslow need hierarchical theory. So motivate the employees and provide the useful summary of the human needs, help the marketers to focus the advertisement appeal. These are the important advantages regarding the term you the Maslow need hierarchical theory. Okay, and after the, what are the limitations? There is a lot of the drawbacks and the limitation. Let us discuss the limitations regarding the Maslow need hierarchical theory. The one of the limitations, the researchers have proved that there is a lack of the hierarchical structure. The needs are suggested by the Maslow. So some research papers says that there is a lack of the hierarchical structure. Through every individual has some ordering of his needs satisfaction. So that is one of the important drawbacks. The research has proved there is a lack of the hierarchical structure. Structural changes is one of the important elements. So there is a lack of the structural changes in the hierarchical model of theory. That is the first drawback of the Maslow need hierarchical theory. There is lack of the hierarchical structure. There is a lack of the hierarchical structure. That is one of the important drawbacks of the Maslow need hierarchical theory. Okay, and the second one is another problem is that there is a lack of direct cause and effect relation between the behavior. There is a lack of cause and effect. There is a very important element. As a correlation point of view, there is one of the important kinds of regression point of view. One of the important kinds of cause and effect relationship. And the theories prove that there is lack of the direct cause and effect relationship. Suppose a person's physiological need, there is a cause and effect relationship. And sometimes the theories create a lack of the direct cause and effect relationship between the behavior, between the needs and the human behavior. Human needs and the behavior. There is no direct relationship. Okay. And third limitation is needs and satisfaction needs is psychological feelings. Sometimes even the person may not be aware about their own needs. That is a drawback. The human have their own needs and wants. And certain situation, the persons may not be aware about his own needs. That's a drawback. So we can't apply the theory directly such kind of situations. So that is one of the important drawbacks regarding the Maslow need hierarchical theory. So these are the advantages and the limitations regarding the Maslow theory. One of the important limitation is that sometimes even a person may not be aware of about his own needs. That's the basic drawbacks of the Maslow need hierarchical theory. Okay, these are the limitations regarding the Maslow need hierarchical theory. One is the researchers prove there is a lack of the hierarchical structure, and another problem there is a lack of the direct relationship, and there is a person may not be aware about his own needs. These are the drawbacks regarding the Maslow need hierarchical theory. Okay, now after the second theory, the Fredric Herzberg theory. We already discussed the Fredric Herzberg theory in the first chapter. And the Fredric Herzberg proposed his two-factor theory. There is only two factors. It is derived from the Maslow need hierarchical theory. The Herzberg suggests that there is only two factors in the motivation. And this theory is purely derived from the Maslow hierarchical theory, need hierarchical theory. There are only two factors. One is a motivation factor, another one is hygiene factor. That is the findings regarding Herzberg. Herzberg suggests there is only two factors of motivating the employees. That is, one is hygiene factor, another one is a motivation factor. What is the motivation factor? The motivation factors consist of achieve something, recognition, the work itself, responsibility, advancement, growth. These are the motivating factors of the individual. Why they are motivating? The one is the achievement, that is the one is the recognition, the work itself, responsibility is always motivating the employee, advancement, the career advancement is always motivating the employees, and career growth is also helpful to the employees, so motivating. So these are the two first category of the factor. There is a motivation factor. And Herzberg suggests that the motivational factor, that means promotion point of view, opportunity point of view, personal growth point of view, achievement point of view, the motivation factors are very important. And so there is a great level of job satisfaction when these needs are increasing. Job satisfaction is increased. Normally these motivation factors are increasing. And another one is hygiene factor. The hygiene factor, that means is sometimes hygiene factors are decreased. Normally satisfaction is also decreases. Job satisfaction will be decreased. Look at here, there is a motivation factor, there's an increase in job satisfaction. Hygiene factors are decreasing, that is a decreasing the dissatisfaction in the minds of the employee. And what are the hygiene factor? That's the company policies, supervision. There is a relationship within the organization, working condition within organized, salary, status, security. All are the different hygiene factors relating with the Herzberg. Suppose the hygiene factors are decreasing, it create the dissatisfaction in the minds of the employees. So this diagram shows that when the motivation factors are increased, normally this job satisfaction is increased. When the hygiene factors are decreased, normally this job dissatisfaction will be created. So these are two important factors. One is the motivation factors, another one is hygiene factor. And this theory is put forward by the Fredric Herzberg. The Herzberg suggests that the two important factors the human needs and wants. One is a motivation factor, another one is a hygiene factor. It was introduced in 1959. Okay, and finally discussing what are the advantages and the disadvantages of the Herzberg theory. Like few other Maslow theories, and the Herzberg theory has sort of the advantages and the limitations. And we're discussing what the advantages and the limitations regarding the Herzberg theory. The first advantage is the theory of the Herzberg is purely focusing on the motivation within. That means suppose the employees are motivated, that means it's improved the job satisfaction. So that is a motivation within. The first foremost advantage of the theory of the motivation is that it lays emphasizing on the motivation coming from within the employees themselves rather than focusing on the external factor. So that is one of the important steps. The motivation comes from the employees' minds. So is emphasize on motivation from the within. It's not from the external factor. It's come from the within the minds. And second advantage is the merit is treated. Money is treated secondary. Here the motivation is very important, and one of the important strengths of this theory is the money is treated secondary. The theory money is treated secondary because the factors like promotion, recognition, relationship between the employees are considered to be motivating factor rather than the money. So the promotion, recognition, relationships between the employees are considered to be the motivating factor rather than the money. So the money is treated as secondary. So these are the first two important advantages emphasizing on the motivation within, and the money is treated secondary. And what are the drawbacks? One of the important drawbacks is that job satisfaction, job productivity is not directly related. So there is job satisfaction, there is job productivity. At job satisfaction, the productivity is not directly related. The biggest disadvantage of theory that it's not necessary that satisfied employees will lead to increase of productivity in the company. So that is a question. And will not necessary. This theory is that it's not necessary that satisfied employees will lead to increase in productivity in the company. We can't guarantee this performance. There's the first drawback. Job satisfaction and job productivity is not directly related. Okay, and second one is it can be subjective. Here this theory is always subjective. That means different people have the different meaning when it comes to job satisfaction. Job satisfaction have the different meaning. So it can be subjective. It can be subjective. Sometimes theory is not objective, it's maybe subjective. That's the drawback of the Herzberg theory. And last one is theory is ignoring the external factors because it's always focusing on the employees' motivation within. So it's not considering external factors. The limited theory is ignoring the external factors like factors which reality plays a big. As per the reality point, the external factors are contributing. That means like government condition, policy is a very important element, and it ignoring the external factors. That's another important drawbacks of the Herzberg theory. So these are the drawbacks of the Herzberg theory. And Herzberg theory, two important factors. There is the motivation factors and the hygiene factor. And these are the advantages and the disadvantages regarding the Herzberg theory. Okay, let me conclude. The first we discuss what we mean by the term is the motivation. What is the motivation? The motivation is a process of stimulating an individual for action. So the term is known as the motivation. It's a stimulating the individual for an action. So that is a stimulation. So it's according to Edwin B. Flifo, the motivation is a process of attempting to influence others to do their work through responsibility and gain of reward. So that is one of the important meaning of the term, the motivation. These are the characteristics of the motivation. This process, continuous process, complex, goal-oriented, positive, negative, related with the individual. These are the important characteristics of the motivation. These are the importance: proper utilization, willingness to interest creation, high productivity, organization goals, and the readiness. That means always positive and effective efficiency in the work, reducing the absenteeism, employee satisfaction, and you are the fewer dispute, and other important. These are the importance of the motivation. So the motivation always positive. That means I can do it. It's not I can't, you can do it. So, and another one is motivation process, starting the need, deficiency, and the selection of the course of action, and you are the assessment of the employee's performance, and reward and punishment, and these are the important steps regarding your the motivation process. And after that theories, there is a Maslow theories and the Herzberg theories, and you are the McGregor theory of visit. And normally the content theory is the process theory. We just classify as content theories and the process theory. Okay, and this the first theory is the Maslow theory. The 5 important categories: physiological, safety, social, esteem, and self-actualization. These are the needs of the Maslow. Now the assumptions of the Maslow theory, and there is a needs and wants important. The wants are unlimited. There is hierarchical order. A person moved to the higher level on the hierarchy on only when the lower level needs are satisfied. So these are assumptions regarding the Maslow theories. And these are advantages and the disadvantages. After assumptions, there is advantages and the disadvantages. Another Herzberg theory, the 2 important factors, the motivation factors and the hygiene factor. The motivation factors are increased, definitely your job satisfaction will be increased, and the hygiene factors are decreased, definitely this lead to job dissatisfaction. Okay, and these are advantages and the disadvantages. Herzberg theory, its advantage point is emphasizing the motivation within, and money is treated secondary, and demerit point of view, job satisfaction, job productivity is not directly related. It can be subjective, and will be ignoring the external factor. These are the drawbacks regarding your the Herzberg theory. Okay, these are first, we discuss the first 2 important theory. There is a Maslow need hierarchical theory and Herzberg theory. Herzberg 2-factor theory, that means motivation factor and the hygiene factor theory. Okay, anyway, thank you so much, and thank you for watching me.